Some stories shake you to your core because they remind you of the sheer audacity it takes to rebuild your life from the ground up. Welcome to Audacious Summit, ladies. Today's conversation, our very first conversation, is one of those stories that is about reinvention, resilience, and the kind of success that is not just financial, but deeply fulfilling. My guest today, the beautiful Maii Vu, is someone that I had the privilege of knowing intimately, first as her coach when she took the boldest leap of her life, then as my peer witnessing her rise into the powerhouse woman she is today. Her story is one of breaking free, daring to dream bigger, and proving that ease, success, and wealth are all possible, even in the face of the hardest things, hardest challenges that are happening in your life. Mai is a podcast host, motivational speaker, and the founder of Empowered Muse. Coming from an Asian background, she defied all societal expectations, activated her truest potential, and manifested massive success and wealth in a very short span of time. As a high performance mentor, she helps women entrepreneurs to succeed with ease, quantum scale their businesses, and live a rich, fulfilling life. Her journey is nothing short of incredible. She went from being a struggling single mother to rebuilding a six-figure business in her very first year, all while raising an infant. Today, her podcast, Empowered Muse, has over 150,000 downloads, ranking top 10 in Vietnam and multiple countries. And she is now the author of Daring to Dream. But before all of this, she was a woman standing at a crossroad, facing a life-altering betrayal, a baby on the way, and in an entirely new country ahead of her. Welcome, my dear. I'm so honored to have you and to have this conversation with you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for incredible introduction. I have chills all over when Sajad talk about me because we know intimately about the background where I came from and how the journey looked like at the beginning to then eventually being like the first millionaire in the family. So I'm so honored. Thank you so much for the introductions. And hi, everybody. I'm excited to give my best today in this conversation.
And you will, because there's no way that it's not the best because it's your story. And as I said, I had the privilege of witnessing it. So I have chills as I talk about you. I always talk about you, but I'm so honored that more people are going to get to know you because of how incredible you are. And I want to start right there. I know that wasn't something that you always talked about when you first started, but now after everything that you've achieved, I think it's so important for women to see that where you were, and they may find themselves there as well, what is possible. So I wanted to start there before the radical reinvention. I want you to take us to the moment when everything changed, when you found out about the betrayal, you had moved to Australia and you had to rebuild. What was that like for you?
Okay, so Sajad know me like very intimately about 5 years back, right before I have my first breakthrough. And to be honest, ladies, if you're listening to this one, no matter where you are in the journey, no matter what challenge is in front of you, I know we have the power to pull through as long as you trust in yourself. So about when we first started, I wasn't even like a business savvy. I was just doing my marketing job 9 to 5 and then hoping to get married to like a really good family so that he take care of me and he feel responsible for like financial and providing everything. So I just want to provide a man. I ended up with a man's as I believe was the love of my life because we was in a relationship on and off for so long. And when I was pregnant, we have our like wedding ceremony. Walking into the aisle, I was smiling. I felt so happy. It was, like his eye was dazzling on me. We had the first night as a husband and wife. Everything was perfect. I was so proud. We have friends like flying back into the country to celebrate us. We fought for it. It was like a long run. We fought for our relationship for 7 years before that point. I thought I finally married the love of my life. He was also following Buddhism, which is a great sign that he would never cheat or do anything betrayal, because in Buddhism we teach about loyalty, we teach about being committed to one person. Everything was perfect until I moved in with him a couple of days later. I was 4 months pregnant at the time, and in that room, I can still smell and I can still feel the room. I remember somewhere they talk about when you go through a trauma, you remember vivid details. You even remember the hour on the clock. I remember that room. I remember that day I woke up, and that wasn't the first time I felt this gut-wrenching feelings. And that wasn't the first time, because there was 2 times before that. I felt the same way about the same thing, and I opened and it crushed me. It wasn't it wasn't his first betrayal. Like 2 times before, I also woke up in the same bed, and I was also looking on that same bedside and discovered crazy mystery he was trying to cover when we were in a relationship. I forgive him. But this time felt different because I know I'm carrying a baby. I went to that, and he didn't actually locked it. Because why? Because we have been like I've been placing trust on him for very long time until this point. I thought he would never do something again to me, and I saw very intimate messages between two-person talking about how they were in love with each other, and I was just, a responsibility that he took on because we have a child together. And at that time, my whole world crumbled. I couldn't even cry. The only thing that I knew at that time was I need to get out of here. I can't breathe. I need to get out of here. I need to keep my baby safe, because if I got this shock in the system, I don't know what's going on with my little girl inside of my belly. So I packed up a couple of like clothes. I put my laptop in to I remember I only bring my laptop, not even my charger. So it died halfway. Like it died on the first day that I used it, because I was searching up flight tickets and hotels, and I only bought my phone charger and I left. And I was just coming out of the house. I didn't even talk to anyone in the family, because I felt like I can't explain how they failed me and how their son failed me so miserably. I called a taxi. I went to work. I was still working at the time, and I told everybody at work that I'm going to leave for like a week, because I can't, like, I have some health issues. And I clean up my desk at my work, because it was in a different city. So I know I'm not gonna coming back to the city anymore. I gotta clean up as much as I can. And I went to a hotel. I didn't even have a booking. I just come in and said like, hey, you have a room. And I chose the room that I chose wasn't even have a balcony. It was completely dark, no balcony, no window. It was as dark as a soul of my days at that time. And I tried to sleep. I remember the first person I reached out was you. And it was midnight, or it was some early morning hour in your day. And I think you were going somewhere after that. And we didn't even like sign up any, I didn't even pay anything. I didn't even like, I just reached out to you. I said, I need your help. And I couldn't contain myself. I was shaking. And I remember I couldn't sleep for the whole day, for the whole night, and until midnight when you coming back, because you have signals, and that was when you wake up. And the first message was from you, and it calmed me down a little bit, but my nervous system couldn't take it. So I stay in that dark room without any balcony, without any light and windows for nearly a week. I didn't answer his phone. I didn't talk to him. I don't return his phone. Like at the beginning, he was still normal. It felt like I was just having some anger, and I just left for a couple of days, and then he didn't even find me. And after 3 days, he kind of felt nervous and trying to reach out and asking what's really going on. And at that time, I couldn't even settle my mind out. I just show him a screenshot, because I know if I don't screenshot this thing, He would just refuse it. So I showed him a screenshot and he knew immediately. And the first thing he said, it's not what you think it is. Of course, everybody say that, right? Like they would dump the mistake right away. But I said, I know exactly what it is, and I need some time to process. And he was begging me to like maybe at least letting him finding a better place for me to live. And during all of those time, I had blood coming out of my systems. I was so nervous. I had to go to emergency for at least 1 or 2 times. And every time I don't wanted to contact him. So he had to send a person of his family to come and take care of me. The first week was a disaster. I can't tell anyone. It's only you and another best friend of mine that I trusted, that know about this, because I can't even process what's going on, what the future is going to be like, because yeah, like I don't have a job now, and I have no source of income. My family have carry so much pride that they would not let me back. They would not want to have it back, and financially I wasn't even having any money in my pocket. So that was the first night, and that led me to a persevere changing completely my lifestyle fight through my first year when I gave birth to the baby by myself, like, and I'm determined I'm gonna breastfeed her. And I was breastfeeding her until she was 3.5 years old. So I breastfed her, which means that I wake up every 3 to 4 hours. I never have a good sleep. Even if my mom come back, she was migrating in Australia at that time. Even if she come back and help, she can just, care so much, right? So completely my first year was giving birth was postpartum, um, health issue, crisis of health. I was skinnier than ever. With people who pregnant, they gain weight, I lost weight.
Mm.
I was skinnier than I've ever been. So I went through all of that, and I know if I stayed back in the country, I can't create a new journey. So I venture up and I go back to Australia with my mom's help, and decided to start all over again. Because I couldn't face the eyes of people around me, like the questioning, like what's going on, what's the story. And at that time, he even went out, he had the audacity to went out to every person who know us and say that he kind of left me. He had the audacity to say that, and his family has the audacity to even like call me out to like a coffee shop and told me like, hey, if you guys don't feel like you can go back together, you better split up faster, because then that would give my son a better future. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Sorry for my language, but I couldn't bear how ridiculous they were and how cold-hearted they were towards me, even though the mistake wasn't even mine to begin with. And this wasn't even the first mistake, it was the third time, maybe many more, but I only discovered 3 times, and that's enough. I promised myself, third time with the charm, that's it, no more coming back. And he couldn't believe that I'm never coming back. At the beginning, he not even supporting any of that. He was like crazy. He changed from like a lover, a soft, sweet lover, to like a person who's so angry and angry at me. I was like you don't even have the right to be angry at me for not taking you back, because I don't want to live another 30 year being in this uh, possibility of meltdown every single day, like any day in my life. I don't want to live in that reality. So I took that with no support from family, my father trying to give me back to the other family a couple of times, and that's why I just ventured back to here, because I can't stand the people staring at me, curious about our story, and also the failure that I have in that incident, and the anger that I have when I have to constantly be interact with him. So that was my first year being a single mom at that time. Sajal was like helping me with my healing journey, but at the same time, we need to find a way to financially providing for ourselves. So I started my journey to be a love coach because I don't want anyone to repeat my mistake. That was the only reason. I don't know if you need another better reason than that. For me, my pain fuel my passion. And literally that was the first thing that I teach was pain fuel passion because at that time I don't want anyone to go through the same mistake, to go through the same choosing the wrong person based off just a feminine energy, but really understanding the value and the guy and really trusting not just your feminine flow and whoever come and you accept it, but like really trusting your intuition, your instinct, and leave, have the power to leave. If I were to have the power when I discovered the first time he cheated on me, if I were to have that power back then when I was 22 or 23, if I have that kind of mindset, knowledge, and understanding that there are better men out there and I deserve better, and actually I'm going to attract a lot of better guy, I would never go back for the second or even the third time like this. If I have that power, I would never. So the first mission for me at that time, which is I wanted to help the woman behind me, like the woman in a younger generation to love even more conscious and choosing the right person. That was my first ever like business idea, and Sajja was even like helping healing through that and also guiding me through the first stage of the business. And I'm so grateful for your biggest heart, your support, your care, because it's not just about the money that we have, the transaction between money, but it's the care, the attention. Like she also dedicated a lot of support and the time and the I mean, until this point, I we still talk about, my baby girl and the process. So yeah, that was the first glance of how I became who I am today. And I felt like the Maii Vu uh before 28 was like the leaders, the leader girls who never know her power. And then only from my 29 to my 30 is where I understand the power of who I am as a woman. And I never let go of that from then on.
My entire body is like constant chills because like it's so interesting. It's not very common that you as a coach yourself, like you're probably one of my only clients that I was right in that moment with you. You know, like someone goes through something and then they're like, okay, I need to find a coach. But it's like I remember you were in a car and you were texting me, and my whole heart was like breaking into pieces. And at the same
Yeah.
time, I was just in complete awe of you because, like you said, it wasn't his first time. This was his third time doing this. And this is the interesting part because when you didn't have a baby, when he wasn't your husband, you forgave him. You you allowed him, you gave him another chance. And then a lot of women in this situation would be like, well, now I have no choice. Now what am I going to do as a single mom? I'm pregnant. I don't have a job. My parents are going to be mad at me. His parents, the whole society is going to be mad at me. So, what it takes for a woman in that situation to just say, I'm choosing me and my baby. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to sign up for 30 years of this. It's mind blowing because it's you have everything against you. Parents'
Yeah.
disapproval, society disapproval, financial hardship, not having to now raise a child by yourself and don't know if mom is going to help or not. She's so disappointed. You have all of that. So that's just mind-blowing. And I do love the fact that you were like, if I stay in that same environment, and I think that's really important, it's gonna be so much harder because now it's in your face all the time. So making a move and moving to Australia as a scary again, again, another scary thing that you did. But what a journey. What a journey. I'm just in awe of you, and I can't help but to feel so passionate about it because every time any woman has any of these excuses, I always use you as an example. I'm like, she had this and this and this and this and this and this against her. Tell me what you don't feel
What's your
like.
problem?
What is your problem? You're not getting enough likes on Instagram? That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I was going live stream, my baby was crying. My mom was storming inside of the room, give me back the baby and like deal with your problem. Like the attitude was like like I'm leaving with that kind of like mom would support me one day and not support me the second day
Yeah,
for the first 3 years of my business,
I remember.
ladies. Like, and that was COVID. I have no childcare. To be honest, I have no childcare. I was living in that unstable environment. My dad can be angry outbursts at me anytime, even though I should be the one who feel bad about myself, right? And I took all the blames about my family, like every single person failure in my family. Now it's my mistakes because I started it. So I started the ripple effect. So it's crazy how Asian people think. And luckily I know myself, so I didn't bring it on. Like they told me I'm a blue lion. I never be a blue lion. Remember that analogy you gave me? I never be a blue lion. So I'm fine, but it's very hard. Um, and I honestly t can say that that was an escape for me to go here and to settle to rebuild everything. Work was actually another way to numb my feelings. And until I have the whole success, until I have the big success, until I have the money flow and everything in my financial was stable, I bought my car, I have my house and everything was stable, then things start going back, right? Then we actually go back to healing it. Now it's time to heal it. And I have to share after my first million in my business, everything crumbled down again. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, like it's been years that I healed this. It's been like so long. But I realized I actually never dedicated such an intensive time to really go through the process and release that. And then I also make a decision, okay, final okay, like as many years as it took to heal, I can still heal and rebuild myself every single piece at a time. And it was a 10 years trauma and dramas. And of course, it cannot go away in such a short time. Even though I believe in quantum growing, I believe in quantum healings. We can release a bunch of things within like 45-minute sessions. But if it is still coming back and knocking on your door, even though you have a success, and then there is some creepy memories coming back and knocking on your door, welcome it with a, a warm heart. Welcome it. I think the analogy is welcome it with a full heart now. Before I can only welcome it with pieces and pieces of my heart. Now I have my full heart. Now I collected myself. Welcome it when you're stronger. And I remember also another story when we detox in our body. If you try put on like a water detox for at least 3 or 4 days, we can live by on water for like at least 7 days, I believe. Um, the first thing that your body do wasn't like your skin glowing or your body getting skinnier. It doesn't. It actually produce a lot of like pimples and it's actually contracting a lot of like mucus and your skin have reddish. It is because now for the first time your body finally felt like it has the healthy condition to release the toxic that they were trying to hold on. So when I was having that financial stability and feeling really solid within my identity and my new versions and becoming matured version of the woman I am, then the pain come back, then the drama come back. And that was when I have a chance to look at it, but in a different way, have a chance to deal with it in a different manner, and I can resolve it this time for good.
Absolutely. Yes, I love the example that you use because during a detox, the first day, maybe
Yeah.
not the first day, but the second day and the third day, you're like,
Mm.
this is making me feel
A lot of
so,
symptom.
like everything is like you said, you're breaking out, you feel like
Yeah.
puking, but everything is purging because finally the body has the safe
Condition.
the
Mm.
release. And I remember, when you're going through all that trauma, you're making all these changes, and birth is also a trauma. The woman's body is going through a trauma, and now you're in survival.
Yeah.
Right now, we are talking, you're in Australia, and that was the next, I was going to ask you, the next bold move that you made, I think, was the fact that now let's sign up for a business package and go into a lot, like go to, I think, below zero and
Yeah.
yeah, and start this craziness called business because now I have no I don't I'm not interested in a provider man. I'm going to
Yeah.
do this, right? And I think that when you are obviously, when you're in survival, and I think it's important for everyone to know this, is that you don't have time to sit with all the feelings and process them. And this is the good part that you don't have to be fully healed to start a freaking amazing business, but you do have to deal with it at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, and you started that. You started that business and um for you had jobs before, but to be the CEO, to start everything from scratch, what was that like? Because I want people to get a sense of it that while all of this is going on, now you're going to make a financial investment into
Mhm.
something that there is no guarantee in it. You
No
can't,
guarantee.
there is no, oh, you work this amount of hours, this is what you're going to get paid. This is all your creation. What was that like?
It was even like not like an accounting job where you learn the system, then you go have a job guarantee. You're gonna get paid at least 60,000 grand per year. Like that career was coaching, and in Vietnam, it was as drama as I left my relationship because no one know what's good coach is. How much are you gonna making? Is it like a scam system that you scam people for money and all of that stuff? It have a bad reputation in Vietnam. And then on the other side, why do you need that much of money? Like if you spend that much of money, you can have, at least the first year in uni back, and then you can learn this and do that. And like it was a lot of money for me, and it wasn't even my money, it was milk money. So in Vietnam, when you gave birth, it was my money from the wedding that people gave me, and then it was also the money that the people give to the baby. And I told Saj, I was crying. I was like, I remember I transferred you $6,000 at that time. I told her. And after I've done that, then I told her, I didn't tell her before, but after I've done that, then I told her, like I was shaking because this is not my money. This is my baby money. Like I supposed to use this money to build supposedly a future in the next 10 years for her. I don't know if I'm not making this back, I have no money to pay for her school fees and her food because right now I can breastfeed her, but like later she would need schools. And she told me something that I never let go in my memory. She told me I would never take in this kind of money if I don't believe that you can actually make something big out of it. We're gonna make something big out of it. It's like that was where I started to realize that you need someone to believe in you and your potential even before you can see that. And that has been my one of my core mentorship teaching. I see every single person in my world with the potential, with the ability to break free and break through no matter what how hard the situation is, as long as you have that like as long as you hold on to the power that you are given in your feminine, in your attraction, but also in the ability to take action, you can go through anything.
I I remember that so vividly. And I wanna really preface this is that because to me, if a woman with everything goes against her, with every single part of her life being in so much ruins, and she still chooses herself and chooses her happiness, if she can do that, I cannot be worried about what her giving up. It's a lot of people that I will not work with. The type of woman is like, I am in this horrible relationship. I just want everything to be okay. And she's not willing to make any moves. She's not willing to do anything that makes her feel uncomfortable. And she wants to be saved. I don't want that money because I know that I can't do the work for you. But when I see Maii Vu is packing her bags with her pregnant belly, leaving a country and saying yes to herself and no to what is expected of her, of course, I'm not going to be afraid for her because I know who she is at her core. And my God, can we agree that $6,000 is now has it was a seed that is now has given.
Now I make it in like a day.
You make it in a day, and I'm so freaking blown away by you, and I can't love you enough, Mai. Like this is why this interview is the spotlight of the beginning of this, because I think that for any woman who's listening to this, she can see that this is an innate power that you have to activate within yourself. This is the bravery. It's not you, things work out and then you step into it. It's the audacity from the moment that you decide and you just don't look back, and you never looked back. You have been
Mm,
continuously building, and now being where you are, you didn't just survive, you thrived. You have quantum scaled to
mhm,
six figures into first year, like, and then after that, God knows like how much more it's come to. But tell us about the mindset shifts that you had to
mm,
make. So you knew that it's not guaranteed, but there had to be things that, you believed in day and after day when the results weren't there yet to believe in. What were those mindset shifts that you
mm. I think that the first thing is not just a mindset, it's like an identity shift. It's a completely identity rebuild. I have to I really have to let the old me living in comfortable, like wanting to just be quiet because I was a quiet, like you've never recognized me before. I was a quiet, I never show my opinion. Now I have to go to Facebook and talk about my opinion about men, which I failed 3 times in my entire life until this point. That was isn't that like the biggest scary move ever? Yeah, I was quiet and now I have to be loud about what I believe in. I have to start also believing in other women wanting to get out of their struggles and get out of their hardship. At that time, I was dealing with like I was helping with a lot of women trying to break through the patterns repeated in their life and not coming back to their ex who clearly have a toxic trait. So I have to learn to believe in my, not just myself, but like believing in people. I have to own the identity where, if one day my mom supported me, I appreciate it. But if the next day she doesn't and my babies cry, I have to find a way to run my business and not stopping midway. So I don't want to put a stop in the car that already started. So there was a lot of challenge, but also it became the signature method that I use for my own self to go through such unstable environment, unstable mind. I have a lot of mind drama at that time, unstable health issue. Like I have a lot of health issues, but I have to find a way to really make it work. And then why did I find a way? It was the energetics. It was the energetics I have to rely on. It was the belief that believing in myself, believing in other people who also desire the same thing with me, and I hold the answer. And also like focusing on the sharp strategy. At that time, I remember I told you, right? I signed up for like a $2,500. So after we work a while, and after a while I work with Sajad, I was like, I'm ready for six figure. So at the beginning, January of that year, the first year I have six figure, I signed up for a very popular program at that time. I think everybody knows that it would come from a very big influencer name in business. $2,500. I have $2,650 in my bank account. So I was like, and knowing me, I'm not even payment planned. And they have like something like I remember they have 2 weeks of like trial, 2 weeks of trial. I paid in full 2,500. I opened up the first three models. I watched it and I realized I was like, this is not it. This is not the answer. They teach a bunch of different business skill. They was teaching about funnels, they would talk about ads, they would talk about massive like spreading wired. I don't know, but my sense of business at that time told me you don't need that. You need only one or two things really tailored. I don't know at that time what it is, but not this. This is not gonna help you. Like my voice was so loud, and I messaged Shada again. I was like, I'm crying. 3 more months and we finish this one-on-one coaching. I have no money left. But I'm believing I'm gonna have my first six figure, just like I believed a year ago I can walk out of a relationship, build up myself. And I couldn't resource into strategy, so I have to resource back to the only thing I know, which is feminine spiritual. I wake up every single day, pray, and do my spiritual cleanup. 7 days straight, I was in that state of like, I'm not stressed about the money because at that time, it's funny thing is also COVID happened, so I couldn't take on any part-time job. At the same time, my dad finally, for the first time in a couple of years, told me, all right, so to stay at home, be safe. At least I want you to be alive. So he kind of stopped being like the drama, he stopped the drama in the family. He's like, at least stay alive. So I'm gonna give you some money to live for the next 3 months. So I was like, oh, yay, I have 3 months to figure this out. And I believe I can figure it out. 7 days straight, for the first period of 3 months, I meditate. And then something came about feminine energy course, $33, 33 people joined. I was like, $33, 33 people doesn't make even like, $200-300. How can I make like $10,000 per year, per month? Because 100K is like 10,000 a month. Trust it. So I launch it. Of course, the Western, I only have like 15 people join. Half of them was I giving away. And then I talk about it in my Facebook in English. And someone in Vietnamese community saw my Facebook, watched my story, loved it, messaged me and told me, hey, I love the message you're saying. I know you're Vietnamese. Are you willing to teach some of that to the Vietnamese community that I have? I said, of course, I'm happy to, because I would not take any profits because I was just selling to international. I was focusing on international market. And I teach her group. It was 30 people in that group, free class. And I didn't realize she have a bigger community. I didn't realize, I just know her that she have that 30 people in that course. And then I teach that for free, part of my feminine course. At the end of that, I pitched them. I was like, I know this is just something that I like, it's just the surface of something I know. If you want to go further, this is where you learn the whole bunch of things. And we're gonna start at $33. I was like, no, Vietnamese people are gonna pay me money, English people don't have to teach to be educated to pay for knowledge. Vietnamese, they don't pay for knowledge. They go into pirates for knowledge. They go into try every single way to have it for free. That was funny because that was the mindset of one of my first $1 million client also. She was a millionaire and she was still pirating people like the wisdom for free. That was a mindset in Vietnam. It was big. So $33 is a big deal. 30 people in that free class ended up becoming a 75 people in the paid class because they love it so much. They sent it to a bunch of friends. So I was not having like even like not just 30 people sign up, but like they sent a bunch of friends. So I ended up with 75 for the first round. And now we just celebrate 300 people in that course like last year, which is amazing. But that course changed my life and changed a lot of people life as well. And it completely shifted my business. And within 3 months, my coaching going from like $750, no one buy, to like the point that I had to take on wait list and prepaid, and it's raised from like 1,500 to 2,500, 3,500. And then some people even pay for like the whole year of 6,000. So by the end of that 3 months, I made 25K, the first breakthrough, and never go back from there.
Wow. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Like one leap of faith after another, emptying bank accounts. And then,
Use
and,
nothing of what I bought, and I don't even ask for money back.
and
It's
you didn't even
crazy.
ask for your money back. But then starting with just a $33 offer, just going on Facebook, and then people reaching out to you and saying, come speak. It's the whole like leap, make the leap, because you can't make it up. You can't say that someone will see it and then will invite me to their container. It just,
I
if
don't
you
even
plan for
have
it,
that idea. I
you
it,
don't
I
have
didn't
it.
even have that idea because at that time, like trying to speak on my own stage, like it was already hard enough for people to recognize me.
Yes.
It was already hard enough, like leave alone. Oh, there was a story right before, like a couple of maybe 3 months before this happened. Um, I was actually posting in other Vietnamese community and I talk about this concept. and they throw rocks at me. People, like there was like 10,000 people in there. And I talk about this. I also talk about how my package is this much, and they was crazy. They was kind of like witch hunt me to the like they was crazy. They would block me and they would badmouth the whole thing about me, even though that group's supposed to be a queen conscious good. And I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, oh, well, no Vietnamese would ever going to pay me because this is what they treated me with. And then 3 months later, someone else reached out, and I was so hesitant. But then I was like, fine, I have nothing else to do with it besides drawing and dancing on story. I have nothing else. So I took that on, and then it's about finding the right person. It's about attracting your own people. This group of women cherish every single thing I say because they know it, they understand it. The other group, 10,000, of course, 10,000 people, but they understand nothing. They were just purely based on masculine, trying to like hustle their way to the power. And then, having the men have to give them everything, but then they're not even better themselves inside. Different kind of person, different kind of group. So when you open up to the world will start seeing you, but then you would face with different kind of people. You have to know your people. And that was I think my first lesson about attracting the right person.
Exactly, attracting the right person and letting life surprise you that there's a possibility if Maii Vu from Vietnam has so much courage, so much appreciation for this type of work and for investing in herself, then she has to be in alignment. Like she has to be a force, an energetic match for people. And I also was gonna say that, like you overcame so much of judgment that the family had around you. I can only imagine like that was the training for you that if you could face all of that, now if a bunch of people will call you like a scammer for charging that much, yeah, it's still gonna hurt. But of course it didn't derail you because you were so tested already that if your loved ones, if you can overcome it with them, you can overcome with a bunch of people on internet who will hate on you, right? So
Mm.
I absolutely love that.
I remember that time I was searching a lot, and there was a speaker, I forgot her name, my COVID mind, but like she was talking about how you never can leave your parents. And
Mm.
your parents might be the source of pain that you felt the most right now, but you can never leave it. You can leave your girlfriend, you can leave your husband, you can leave your clients, but you never can leave your parents. You always have this internal cord that connecting you with them. It's instead of running away and trying to shoving it underneath, and shoo it away and thinking, oh, nothing's going on, you have to undo it one at a time. And that was a whole journey of me. It led to me undoing a lot of things and one at a time. Like from the person who can never say a word in front of my dad without crying to like the person who can voice her opinion and debate for what I stand for in front of him without him making him go angry because he was overpowered to from the person who will have like on and off relationship with mom to the person who can we cry like there was a time we cried together and hoping for the best about the kids and we share the same goal and from like the person who she was a pre-kindy teacher so she thought she knew about teaching kids and I brought in a completely new method to the person now completely like yeah whatever you say is right so I follow you and I'm gonna teach exactly that and I told her I'm training you for the next grandchild you're gonna teach them even better
Yeah.
from like the person who have constantly like criticism from brother to now I have my brothers also making a bunch of money and he become my clients like I don't really care my client if the person outside trusted in my work or not because I myself do it. I help my brother change completely from the person who worked 9 to 5, never can dare to believe that he can earn more than $5,000 per month to now like making 10 to 20 30K and he just have his first $1 million project signed, 200K project signed. Like from there to that in within 1 year, that was my testament. So I'm good. Like
Serious.
the wealth, I really I'm coming to the point that whatever I'm teaching and I'm introducing to the world is it's something that you are going to use it and change your whole life and not just your life, but your family life, your people, like your person you love most life. It's not about I need you to understand and see the value of it. It's about you taking on the opportunity or not, because I see how it changed mine and my brothers, my family life. So yeah, there you go. You have that option.
There you go. Absolutely. It's that's conviction that you have, the belief that you have within yourself, and then you have the ripple effect. Then you have this that everyone around you, especially when they are constantly seeing the changes, the results, they can't help but to want to be blessed by it. So, what a blessing you are to your brother and to your family, and how you have shifted and changed your relationship with your parents. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, your signature is all about success with ease. And someone listening is like, what Mai is talking about, she's gone through, does not sound easy. This seems like this was a whole journey. But I know what you mean by that. But I want you to talk to the women that are listening that they may not know, what does that mean for you when you are now, you redefined wealth, you redefine your success on your own terms, and it's not a life of sacrifice that you're sacrificing. What does that mean to you?
What does that mean about getting all of these to me?
Yeah, having being able to not struggle and muscle through and use the masculine energy, but to be able to go through it and actually enjoy it. Because I also know Maya absolutely loves, you have to love this type of work, or you be crazy
Yeah,
to go into this, all of this, and just for the sake of making money, because there's much,
you
much easier
can't.
ways to make
Mhm.
money than
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I mean, you can invest in real estate and it makes like 3x in 2 years. So, and then you don't have to work within the days. I love seeing women realizing there is a new horizon. Because I don't know if that's something happening to Western, but in Asian, the woman thinking like this is it, like this is the concrete definition of my life. And I love to bring them the new horizon. Like you can look over, there's a new city, there's a new skyline, there's a new way to live, and not just this. And once a woman are granted to see that whole new way, and there's a possibility that I can live in that kind of new reality, she broke free from her powerless situation. She voiced herself. She raised her standards. She left the wrong relationship. She didn't stay friend with the girlfriend who are mean to her. She can actually shifted her career and earn a bunch of money that belonged to her. I felt like women were given a choice to just, be a pretty doll in a glass that just being displayed. But if you actually know the value of who you are in terms of you can sing, you can dance, you can like raise a baby, you can take care of these people, you can still have the capacity to like when we actually utilizing who we are instead of just being a display, we found our signature power. Every single person have a different kind of power. So what I love is really is it's about bringing in a new way of seeing things for people. And then from then on, they can decide that, oh, maybe I'm meant to be a millionaire. I want to be like Mai. They can decide that. Or they don't have to be like me. They can just shift it a way to deal with whatever they struggle with and not feeling powerless over the situation and gain full control. I felt like we trying to gain control over the wrong things. We're trying to gain control over like other people love me or not, like do this going to give me money or not, like we control the wrong thing. We should control, the only thing we should control is the power over the situation, the power over the scenario that we have with people around us. When we gain control over how you feel, how you think about that, it doesn't defeated you, then we actually good for life. Like we are safe for the rest of your life because you don't grow, you don't do things out of pleasing people, out of like other people desire. You run, if you're trying to win the marathon, you can't, right? So I felt like I'm passionate in bringing the new concept, new idea, new way of thinking, new angle of looking at things, new perceptions, and maybe just there is a new way of living this reality, and I can actually opt in for that. That's what I love to bring into my woman.
I absolutely love that the visual of the new horizon, and the truth bomb that you just dropped about the only thing you have control over is the power over your problem, not over anything else, including ex-husband that cheats. Like we can't
Yeah.
control any of it, but how
Including if he pays his money this month or not, you can't.
you can
And
only choose how you respond, how
can I
you
add in something? Yeah, like because translating into now is like not just like the money and also that, including if the next day your team decided to quit and she was one of your core team member, of course, yeah, like you can't just keep her and then trying to get her work for you. You actually going to persevere and then pivoting to something else. You can't even keep the client who are unhappy or like decided, oh, actually I'm done and I'm going for another kind of coach who completely wrong with them, but like they have to learn the lesson. Then a year later they come back. You can't even control how a man think about you on first date or if he's going to marry you after 3 days. Like you can't even control that. And when you know you don't have control over that, you pay less attention to that. I felt like the biggest shift that I helped my woman and myself in quantum growth is literally just a focused attention. Instead of like worrying about 10, 20,000 different things around us, focusing on this two thing. Energy goes, our energy go where the attention flows, right? When energy flow into that, it grows bigger. So instead of like wake up and worry about your boss, your team member, your colleague, your parents, your husband, your sister-in-law, your mom-in-law, what they do, what they think, how am I going to respond to their drama today? Instead of that, then we cleaning up. We don't care, like whatever throw at you, you can deal with it. Then you can just focusing on, all right, so let's look at the business. What kind of topic I want to talk about? What kind of content I want to produce today that is high quality? That I just write one piece and people signing up like crazy. Like literally last year, I have a test. I was testing, fine-tuning the frequency of energy plus the messaging, the sharpness of messaging. I posted one text in, the text on Facebook. I said, I'm busy recording something, but I don't want you to miss out. This is my new offer. This is how much it is. Go join. 40 people join in 48 hours. Crazy. It's blowing up. It was just, and that was a testament of, right alignment, fine-tuning energy frequency. Like when you match with the frequency, plus when you have the smartest business, skill. I believe content skill and messaging skill is the smartest thing to invest, if anyone wonder. Then success is inevitable, and if only business and your baby is the only problem, not even problem, the only thing you're focusing on this today, and then both of them bring you joy, then you have a joyful life no matter what drama around you. So we can never ship the drama, we can never avoid the drama, but we can definitely build up ability to look at the drama and feel like, all right, it's just another ball and I had to kick it away. That's it.
well, there you go. That's like the mindset of a boss lady, opting out of drama and then focusing on your
What I
mission,
had to
your
do to
vision, what I have to do. Like there is you're here for much bigger things in life than spending your who's unfollowed me, who doesn't like me,
yeah.
who said that about me. All of that is noise. But like you said, you're focusing on recording something and you're like, here's a note, like I'm not even looking at it, and then you have 40 people joining. This is the miracle, the magic of a woman that is her focus and energy is going through creation as opposed to being pulled away 500
Mhm.
ways, which is so easy nowadays. But I love, love, love that you said that. Oh my, I could talk to you forever, but I want to be respectful of your time because I know you're your mama and you're gonna have to take your beautiful daughter that I love so much to school. So before we let you go, first, let me ask you this one last question. If you were to go back in 2018, before all of these things that happened, or let's see, go to the moment that happened, before you talk to me, if you had one message for that Maii Vu in 2018 that she just looked at the iPad and her world came crashing down, what message, what would you tell her?
I actually wrote about this a couple of days ago. I didn't realize we're having this conversation. I'm going to say you I never resonate with how people say, are you living your dream life yet? Like, is this the life that you ever dreamed about? Because whatever I'm having right now, everything that I'm having right now, the community, top 10 podcasts, we hit 230,000 already. I have to edit my bio.
Okay, so not
Um,
150,000, 230,000 ladies. All right, we got that straight.
um, like, and then the $1 million, like, nothing of this was in my plan. Nothing of it was in my dream. My dream was become a housewife, be good for life, raising 3 kids, and be a really sweet, loving wife that the husband would want to come back home to and love. I would I would actually want to tell my 26 years old, not my 28. The moment I was in the middle of decision, should I go back to a relationship or not, or should I go to the other career? I would tell her because at that time I told my dad I want a gap year. I want to really focusing on something else beside, following this. And he said no. I would told her to follow her gut. Maybe just gather $500, $600, learn the most, like investing intensively your time to research on the one thing that you believe is going to bring the most benefit to you. And that one thing would soon become your biggest unique selling point, because people talk about expertise. Expertise is about 10,000 hours spent on a skill that you practice. What is that one thing that's going to bring the benefits long term? First, it had to serve you at that time, but second, it's going to really change the life that you have later. And I believe I'm still going to choose the relationship skill at that time because I have a better skill. I have more intensive skill and knowledge with dealing with men, dealing with the power dynamic in a relationship, dealing with the worthiness issue. I'm going to choose better and walk in a different path. And I'm never going to look back. I'm still not going to look back now, but she would have a much faster and maybe a a seamless way to get to where I'm at today. I believe I'm going to get here anyway, but she might actually have an earlier success without a lot of pain attached with it.
Yes. And thank God for you and for coaches that now women don't have to go through, if they choose to, if it's their path, it's their path.
Yeah.
But this is what we are here for, to shine the light in the places that they may not be aware to look at. And now they get to from your experience, from your brilliance, and from your resilience and courage. Your story still to this day moves me so much, Mai. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I know you have a gift for the audience that we have here, because of course they want to be in your energy and listen to your podcast. There's also English
Yeah, my Empowered Me podcast is in dual language, even though so after international breakout success, I decided to launch a book, and that book led me to feel like I'm ready to go back to my Vietnamese to serve them in more intensive way. I'm a focused woman, so like yeah, I have to focus back on that community, but my podcast are still the way to connect with my international audiences. So you can still search up Empowered Muse podcast and that dual language. I have a lot of things. So can I come back with the gift? But then it
absolutely.
would be in the show notes, right? It would be in
Yes.
there because I just want to see like, is it energetics or is it strategy? Because I have both that I would love to give away to the women. But one thing I want to add on here, if you're wondering how to success faster, is literally energetics alignment, feminine attractions, listen to your intuition, take the bold leap while being in the presence of trusting your result. It's already there, and investing in the business skill, like one or two skill. It can be selling, it can be messaging, can be content, but invest in something that really have you signing the clients faster and easier without explaining yourself and undercharge yourself. So I believe those things is going to bring you to the fastest success. So I'm going to sit on it and then send Sajat the best gift that I believe everyone is going to use. It's going to be in the show note.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. We'll have everything said. I'm glad that, this is the feminine way, sitting with it, feeling through it, and see what would serve them the best based on this conversation that we had. I absolutely love it. We'll also have all your socials, your podcast, every link in the notes. Thank you so much, my love, for spending your precious time with me, with the audience. And I know that this is just the beginning, even though this has been such an incredible journey. But watch out, world, because Mai is going to keep on soaring and we are going to go along with her.
Yay. I'm excited to maybe come back another time and in another summit or in another interview with you and share different things that I discover for the next level. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And please share this conversation, the summit to any girlfriend, any woman who are going through maybe the similar things and cannot believe in something, but you see in her bigger thing, you see in her a better future, you see in her something else, or just yourself. Like dive in. We have a lot to offer here. It's not just, another summit where you sit through and hear a bunch of fluffy things. We really want to bring you the core things that are going to shape your life to a better. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much.